Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of NEWS2. I'm Sandra Singh, topping our newscast. Across the territory, Wednesday, schools and offices took part in Vaitima's annual tsunami emergency drill. The siren sounded promptly at 10 a.m., blaring tones and warnings urging people to head for higher ground. Staffers from the St. Croix legislature evacuated the Senate building and walked to the nearest hill.
Well, the procedures that we have in place was a great success today. We had designated a certain amount of people to participate. My security team was at the location up, which is our designation was up at the graveyard entrance here in Frederickstead, the higher ground. And everybody was accounted for in a reasonable amount of time.
Attention, tsunami alert. Please follow tsunami evacuate life instructions. Head to higher ground immediately.
Meanwhile, tsunami evacuation drills were underway in the St. Thomas St. John district. At exactly 10 a.m., the alarms went off, and then periodically until 10:20, when the message, "All clear, please return to your normal duties," was transmitted. Now, there are many sirens located on St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix. VI Department of Education has partnered with an emergency management consulting firm, CDR McGuire, to help develop tsunami evacuation and shelter plans for schools throughout the territory, who are also participating in the drill. VI Department of Education and Vaitima, they have been holding town hall meetings in each school district to explain the overall project. There was one held earlier today at the Arthur A. Richards Junior High Auditorium at 5:30. The next one will be held at the Pearl B. Lawson School Auditorium at 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, March 26. Additionally, CDR McGuire has provided an online portal in which all Virgin Islanders can take a general tsunami awareness training. Other exercise participants included the Office of the Lieutenant Governor, VI Police Department, the Supreme Court of the Virgin Islands, Superior Court of the VI, Department of Finance, American Red Cross, Frederickstead Health Center, Tropical Shipping, Crown Bay Marina, WICO, and several private sector businesses. Now you can log on for that testing at www.usvitsunami.org. Well, about 80 attendees were able to pose some questions and address some concerns as well on St. John. On March 24th, St. John Administrator Camille Paris hosted a town hall meeting with Executive Director Carlton Dow of the VI Port Authority. In attendance were Director of Engineering Dale Gregory, Director of Property Management Denise Mills, St. Thomas St. John Marine Manager Kelvin Industrious, Chief Warfinger Elrod Hendricks, Public Information Officer Manifa Morero, and Chief of Staff Julius Harley. Some of the topics included the paving of the container port on the Port Authority property, VIPA's requests for proposal for the management of the taxi stand in Cruz Bay, and the future resurfacing of the ferry dock. It might be Disabilities Awareness Month, but one organization helps promote awareness every single week, every month of the year. The VI Association for Independent Living hosts a vocal group of persons with disabilities, and they're very adamant about their rights in the territory. NEWS2's April Knight has that story.
Every Wednesday, a group of Virgin Islanders gather here at the VI Association for Independent Living. All of them have one thing in common, something that makes life more challenging than the rest of the population.
One can live independently with a disability. A lot of the people we see are individuals who have lost their vision. Many. Too many.
Here, they learn about tools and resources specific to their disability.
On a post-it reader, you would put it just like this. I mean, you can read 2 pages at a time, but when I read 1 page at a time, it's more understandable.
And get to exchange information about their rights.
ADA, which is the law that protects us and gives us basically it tells you our rights. So everybody who has a disability needs to know what your rights are.
They also talk about challenges of living in the territory. Accessibility, for example, is one major hurdle.
We are kind of behind when it comes to access. We do have barriers here in the territory.
But while funding and political will slow progress in bettering the lives of persons with disabilities, there's also this.
I think the biggest challenge is the community. I don't think that the community in general understand the need to be sensitive to the needs of others, getting the community, employers, others to understand that persons with disabilities are first of all persons.
That was April Knight reporting. Meanwhile, on Friday, in recognition of Disabilities Awareness Month, the Vocational Rehabilitation Program is holding the first annual Career Expo. This is for persons with disabilities seeking employment or preparing to apply for a job, and for employers who want to learn more about hiring persons with disabilities. That's going on Friday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Department of Human Services, Newt Hansen, St. Thomas.
This is our first event, so what we try to do is try to make it an event where individuals with disability as well as the entire community have an opportunity to come to Human Services and actually get employment services there.
It's important for employers to understand what their responsibilities are as employers when hiring, and also to understand that there is an agency that can assist them and support them in their efforts to work with some individuals who may have challenges but have qualities that can be an asset to their workplace.
Also, be sure to mark these two events coming up: Special Olympics Virgin Islands volunteers. They'll be meeting on March 26 at 5:30 p.m. Also, the Special Olympics Tri-Island Games and Law Enforcement Torch Run. That's coming up on Saturday, March 28th at CAHS High School. Call Kishma Kriki at 776-4303 for more information about the events. And we'll have more about disability awareness next week right here on News 2. The VIPD's Police Cadet Program, coordinated by Sergeant Bridget Cano, decided to roll up their sleeves to make a difference. An initiative of VI Housing Authority's manager of Paul M. Pearson Garden, Rosalind Martin. Take a look. VIPD Police Cadets in St. Thomas joined forces with VI Housing Authority staff to beautify the community there by painting the playground equipment and the bleachers on the basketball court. They say many children from the neighborhood were also very happy to pitch in. Turning our attention overseas, search and recovery teams were on the scene of that jetliner crash in the French Alps, and two opera singers were among the 150 people killed in the Germanwings Flight 9525 crash Tuesday. Many are in mourning in the French Alps. Oleg Bryjak and Maria Radner were returning from Barcelona, Spain, where they had performed in Richard Wagner's Siegfried. Well, the plane was on its way from Spain to Germany when it went down mid-flight. French officials say recovery operations are difficult because the plane crashed along rough terrain in a remote area. There was no distress call from the plane, they say, as it approached the Southern Alps, according to French aviation officials. President Obama also spoke to Germany's chancellor to express his condolences. The White House says there's still no indication terrorism was involved. Keeping our eye on the economy, here's the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all down. The Dow 292, Nasdaq 118, S&P down 30. Coming up on News 2, we have much more straight ahead. We'll be right back. After a two-week trial, on March 24th, a federal jury on St. Croix convicted Elvin Rensford, 29, and Craig Muller, 30, of first-degree murder and related firearm offenses. Rensford was convicted of possession of a firearm in a school zone, using a firearm during a violent crime, possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number, murder first degree, and unauthorized possession of a firearm. Muller was convicted of possession of a firearm in a school zone, murder first degree, and unauthorized possession of a firearm. Murder in the first degree carries a mandatory penalty of life in prison without parole. Both defendants were detained pending sentencing. No sentencing date has been set. Count on 2 to keep you updated. Crime Stoppers needs your help daily to help police solve many of the crimes that go unpunished. There are several ways you can submit an anonymous tip to help law enforcement get closer to making an arrest. News2's Erica Parsons has the latest report.
This week's Crime Stoppers report focuses on events that happened within the last 6 months. On St. Croix, police are still looking for at least 2 men who held up the Bank of St. Croix in Gallows Bay last September. Witnesses said 2 armed, masked men got out of a gray Equinox that was parked outside the bank before they entered and demanded cash. They left the bank, traveling east, but police found the vehicle abandoned nearby. One suspect is over 6 feet tall and was wearing a camouflage jacket with a hood and camouflage pants. According to witnesses, the second suspect is around 5 feet 6 inches. He was wearing khaki pants, a black hoodie, and multicolored sneakers. The 2 appear to have dreadlocks. On St. Thomas, police need help to find out who shot and killed a man near Cookie Point Beach. Officers were called there just before 9 p.m. on January 31st. They found Anthony Charles lying unresponsive between Callie's Place and Dushy by the Sea. Finally, on St. John, police say the St. John School of the Arts was burglarized on or about March 15th, and $140 was taken. The school was secured on Saturday, March 14th around 4 p.m. One window was broken, and police suspect that's how the thieves got in. Anyone with information on any of these crimes is urged to contact police or Crime Stoppers. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Again, you can submit information anonymously by calling Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS or by logging on to the website at www.crimestoppersusvi.org. 5 students from Elena Christian Junior High's Rocketry Club are back in the territory after a visit to the White House. The teen club returned to cheers from happy parents and education officials who were at the airport to welcome them back. The group was the only rocketry club among 100 students selected to participate in the annual White House Science Fair on Monday. The students who met President Obama said it was a life-changing experience.
Besides being born again, that experience was just the most magnificent, the most mind-blowing experience that has ever happened.
To be completely honest, when President Obama walked into the room, I was starstruck. I couldn't move. I was frozen. I couldn't believe that he was in the same room as me. Just him gracing me with his presence was a great honor.
There were people there who were just tearing to see our youngsters deliver the way that they delivered. In a nutshell, they represented St. Croix at the highest level.
And the 4th annual St. Thomas Hair, Beauty and Health Expo was held. The event drew many. Nada Young showcased her latest fashion and fragrance called When the Mood is White. Models were in full effect on the runway on Sunday at Ivana Udoracan High School. Guest celebrity hairstylist Derek J was in town for the event. There were classes, exhibitions, and much, much more. Those who wear their hair natural and even locked had many of their questions answered about how to keep it beautiful. Well, you love comedy? As you know, laughter is always the best medicine. Caribbean Comedy Weekend is coming up on March 27th to the 28th at Tillett Gardens, featuring Howard G. He appeared in BET's Comic View, HBO Def Comedy Jams, and Will McCoy. MC is Lucas Warford. A portion of the proceeds will benefit the Bethlehem House. It's presented by True Companion 2, Women of Power, and The Real Deal. For fashionistas out there, your event is coming up, and you can go for a good cause. As we mentioned, the 2015 Model Mania Modeling Competition is happening at the Reichel Center on Friday. It starts at 7 p.m. What can you expect from the show, and what do the winners get? Here's more.
We have about seven top models, unnecessarily 7 models, aspiring models who's competing to get an all-expensive trip paid to go to New York Fashion Week in September the 10th to the 17th.
So I looked at this as something to actually showcase our talent, and I was very happy to be a part of it because it actually shows what we're trying to do for our youth and give opportunities, especially living in a small area, more opportunities off our shores, and create new ambassadors for us.
And now just a quick programming reminder, News 2 will not be aired at its regularly scheduled times. This Thursday and Friday, March 26th and 27th, the 2015 NCAA Basketball Championships will air in its place, as it did last week, and we will be back on air on Monday, March 30th with our regular scheduled programming. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.